the new Abyss floor. It has 3 Maguu Kenkis, it has some tough bosses, and it has a lot of the new enemies absolutely dealing a ton of damage. This is how I tackled all of these bosses on stream with the builds on the end, so enjoy. So we were able to get 36 stars. Let me show you what team I used for the final floor. For the final floor, there's a couple of problems that you have to face, right? These Rune Drakes get an Electro Shield, and these Eremites have, and like Cryo-based mages have quite a bit of elements, right? And these do a lot of damage, and 3 Maguu Kenki is pretty tough. And then we have the big boss here, which is quite vulnerable against Electro, and these Eremites, which are really tough. So for the first floor, what I'll be doing is I'll making a complete Raiden Shogun MainDPS team, because she handles this guy quite well, the algorithm, and can deal with most of these single target enemies. While Nahida is here to strip the buff of the Electro character on the first floor. For the second floor, we're playing Tartaglia International. They're able to deal with all these elements, group up these enemies, and hopefully get us through just fine. So that is the team that I've used. Let me show you how this works in practice. Level 18 Nahida, don't look at that. Yelan Hutao for the upcoming battle, whichever you prefer. So let me show you. For the first floor, the problem is that these guys get some sort of electro resistance. So I stun them, hopefully to prevent them from getting electro resistance instantly. And then we hit them with all this, and we just execute them with Raiden Shogun, right? Because they only spawn one at a time. For the second one, we continue. Now this one has a buff, so we swap out. And we use Nahida to get rid of the buff before we continue attacking. So now the buff is gone. And now we get to the offense. Oh, I get pushed. We go on the offense. I need to put this again, because I got pushed out of it. And we unfortunately did not get a crit on the elemental burst, but we finished this guy off. Right. And then I cast my elemental burst. I cast my Nahida E. Here we go. And use the power of the Shogun to finish this guy off without using my elemental burst again. Now, we divide his attention and we use Nahida again to get rid of the Electro Shield that he currently has. Then Kujusara ult, Shogun ult, and he should quickly melt. There we go. And then for the final one, we once again use Nahida to get rid of the shield. The Electro Shield, also reapply my Zhongli real quick. And then once again, wait 3 seconds and make use of the Raiden Shogun to finish him off. And there we go. And that's the first floor in exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now for the second floor, we really need AoE damage. Luckily, Childe International is perfect at this. Look at this. So we group them up. We cast all my elemental bursts. And we get rid... Oh, so they dove below, but that's okay. We get rid of all these flowers as fast as possible. Now we use the remnants of my burst to get this this blizzard guy and also melt this guy. Sorry, blizzard guy. Fire mage. And now all of their shields are already low, right? So all of their shields are already damaged. This is good, this is nice. And I have to wait a second for this to be back up so we can group them all up. We can get rid of all of them at once. And there we go. Now we get rid of all of them. And that's these Electro Mages gone. Right, and now we just have these Eremites left. Now again, for the Eremites, we just group them all up. We get rid of their resistances, cast my Zhongli stuff, and blow them up with Tartaglia like this. There we go. Vaporize, big hits. 20 seconds, and boom, that's the first floor. So for the second floor of Abyss, it starts off pretty easy with 3 Samurai Knights, right? So we stun them real quick and we apply the Nahida debuff on them. Then we use the power of Kujusara's AoE and the Raiden Shogun to finish them off quickly, because this time is important. Now these two hit extremely hard. So you really want to make use of your elemental bursts that give you a invincibility frame. And in my case, my Zhongli, shield and stun. So now they're both stunned right, which gives me a little bit of time to go aggressive. And now I hit them both with my Raiden Shogun ult, but I have to be really careful here. Because they could just pop my shield really fast. So I stun them again. I hit them with this, so I can buff my Nahida. And then I use my E skill to buff my Shogun. Then I run around for... Oh, I take a little bit of... Oh, I take some damage. Goes a little south. But we recover. Take a lot of damage there. But now we've recovered. And now we can Kujo Sara and Raiden ult. And we can finish them off. And that's 1. And that's 2. Now for the second floor we have triple Maguu Kenki. Now what is important for triple Maguu Kenki is I stand on the lone Gale Maguu Kenki. And the lone Gale Maguu Kenki, they usually group like this. Which is perfect. This is what we want, right? Now it is important I get my Xiangling elemental burst off as... Oh, I take some damage. I get this elemental burst off as quickly as possible. And now I start hitting all the Maguu Kenkis. And try and damaging them as much as I can. In this AoE without dying. Because death would be an instant restart, right? Because we still have a floor after this. So now I deal as much AoE damage as I can. Whilst watching their attacks. So we watch their attacks. So that they don't absolutely decimate me. Now let's keep this Kazuha elemental burst going. And let's try and charge up my Xiangling again to get another elemental burst. There it is. Let's pop it. And let's do the same rotation again. Let's be cautious with all the attacks that the Maguu Kenki are casting. And just keep bursting and swapping around while slowly dwindling down their HP. And there we go. And that's the second floor. Cleared with plenty of time. It's very important to begin at the Anemo Maguu Kenki here. It greatly increases your chance of getting around and them grouping up. So group on the Anemo Maguu Kenki. And they will group up like that. For the final floor, we start off with this big boss, right? And you get a little bit of downtime. So you can use this downtime to already buff your characters. Now I need to get some energy on my Raiden. So let's get her some of that sweet, sweet energy particles. And let's use my Zhongli burst to actually damage this, this core. Here we go, here we go. Grow, grow, grow. Now it's stunned. I am going to Kujo Sara into Raiden Shogun burst. And we hit 264k. And absolutely melt this tomb card. Now this tomb card is taking a... Oh, it has already taken half of its HP and damage. We just need to do the rotation again. So we apply Nahida E. We cast the Temple of Wisdom. We go on Kujo Sara. We hope to get the burst. We burst into Raiden burst. And boom, 300k. And we quickly finish the boss off. Unfortunately, he is currently stalling a little. Come on, get him with the Zhongli burst. There we go. Clean. And now we're gonna go. This floor is really difficult. But let's give it a good shot. So first we charge Bandit up a bit. And we grab some Kazuha energy. And some Xiangling energy. Because I really need energy on all my characters for this. Now, we cast... First we need to group these guys up again. And then we cast Bandit Burst. Now it's also vital to have Bandit Burst after this expired. So I'm gonna make sure my Bandit has his burst again. Before I get rid of these 3 enemies. This should be plenty. Now I cast all my elemental bursts. And we defeat these Eremites. Because now the real problem is going to spawn on us. Alright, here we go. And we have 1 minute to deal with them. It is 3 summoning Eremites who are an absolute problem. So we start off with Bandit Burst. And we can't really displace them with Kazuha, unfortunately. But we need to try and get our elemental bursts back as soon as possible. So we need to cast Kazuha burst here. This is very important. And we need to cast Bandit burst here while being really stunned. And then we need to start dealing some damage, right? So we Tartaglia, big AoE damage, very, very good. And we deal as much AoE damage as we can. Now we get this snake as well, because it stuns the Eremites. And now they're all stunned. This is perfect. This is art. And we hit them with the Bandit and with Kazuha. Group them all up. And do not have to Tartaglia. And finish them off with some good combo explosions. And that is how you clear Abyss on 36 stars. Ladies and gentlemen. And now the character builds that were used while clearing this abyss. Now I would like to let you in on a little secret at the end of all the character builds. But let's begin with our one and only good friend Tartaglia. He's got a nice 1-2 crit ratio for 72 to 147. He uses Polar Star with 4-piece Heart of Depths. He is C0 and his talents are 10, 10, 10. Because I main Tartaglia and he's just an incredibly good unit. Now the real damage dealer of the group is Xiangling. Now Xiangling has a 1-2 crit ratio and kind of low energy recharge. I would like to have this higher, but she has ER of 155. She's using Wavebreaker's Fin because it significantly increases her elemental burst damage. And 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate, as it's just crazy good on Xiangling and I really need the energy recharge from it. She is C6 and has a level 10 Pyronado and a level 9 Guoba. Next up, Kazuha. Now Kazuha is another great unit, but I play him a bit in a weird way. I have sort of a crit Kazuha, really focused on two things. He's got a 1-2 crit ratio and he has a lot of energy recharge from the Favonius sword, which I genuinely think is one of the best weapons on Kazuha. The Favonius sword does a lot for you if you have some crit chance, because you can generate your elemental burst much quicker. Now of course I have 4-piece VV still, with 2 pieces that have elemental mastery, and then my final piece having crit rate. Now what does this cause? This causes Kazuha's personal damage to be nice, but especially I can use him for two things. His own elemental burst, which is 10, 10, 10 again. His own elemental burst is always up, and this always being up is really nice for the VV set and this general damage and utility. And also if I quick tap E, I can get these particles of the Favonius sword onto my Xiangling, charging her up faster. And last up we have Bennett. Now my Bennett has one problem that will happen during the recording of all this footage. He was using a level 1 dull blade. So the potential of the team was not properly shown. Why is that? Because I was showcasing my Heren Gapaku Futsu on Kaya and I forgot to swap it back for the stream. So that showcase you just saw was with a Bennett using a level 1 dull blade. So imagine the power of the team with Bennett on the 5-star sword. So how should he be built? Well, just as much energy recharge as you can get. I have a nice crit ratio so I can actually hit hard with his elemental burst. 4-piece Nobly Supply is pretty damn good on him. I have him C3, so I don't even have to think about C6 and just have his elemental burst crowned. Now for the second team, we have the Raiden Shogun. Now the Raiden Shogun is really the star of that team, so what is she rocking with? We have about a 1-2 crit ratio with pretty high energy recharge. And the catch. Now this needs to be R5'd, but you know, fishing it takes a little bit of time. 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate, and here's the real kicker. You see 2 times Crowned and Constellation 3, which significantly increases the power of the Shogun. So that is a little bit of that wallet warrior. But the Nahida on this team is quite weak and can definitely gain some improvement. So if you have a C0 Shogun, but you want to play this team, but you have a Nahida that is level 90 with a proper build, I think you can expect similar results. So for Nahida we have a decent crit ratio because of her passive. And she doesn't really have finished artifacts yet, but she has 450 EM and then a decent crit ratio with some energy recharge. She is using the Witsit R5 and has level 8-7 talents with no constellations. I'm really hoping to make her stronger as she's insane right now, but she was good enough for this team to really enable my Raiden Shogun. Now let's look at my Kujosara. My Kujosara is my damage buffer for the Shogun. She uses Stringless for now, but I am really hoping to swap that to the Moen's Moon, because this seems to be quite good on her and also has like high base attack. For the rest she uses 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate, because her elemental burst actually does quite a bit of damage. This has a good multiplier, like 800%. If it crits, it does a big boom. And of course the damage buff, which is the most important part. She is C6 because you kinda need C6 in Kujosara to get the maximum potential out. For her attributes, she has a good amount of energy recharge to get the burst off and a 1-2 crit ratio. Again, this could definitely be improved. But because Shogun kind of carries with the constellations, it is not necessarily needed for 36 stars. But if you were to be a more free-to-play player and you would have a really good Kujosara here and a really good Nahida here, you can expect similar results. Zhongli, I have a hybrid Zhongli. Now the crit rate is a little bit low, I'd love to have this higher. But his shield, he has only got 32k HP. Usually, if I dodge a little bit, his shield is plentiful and it doesn't break. often. He's using the Favonius Lance because it really helps to keep the team's energy recharge up. And also I really want that planet B-fall damage. He has 4-piece tenacity of the middle lift for that damage buff from the rock, because it's just the best set on him, I think, especially as a support. And he's C0. And there's a hefty focus on the planet B-fall. The stun especially is really good here. So, if I were to have a C0 Shogun and actually have a good weapon on my Bennett and have these characters proper build, I think even without 5-star constellations, this team would have been able to clear this abyss quite nicely. This was a quick look into my builds for these characters. I really hope you enjoyed this stream highlight, as I usually don't upload these kind of stream highlights. And I wish you a very nice day. Subscribe for more extra and join the Discord for more extra fun. Goodbye!